everyone, and welcome back to my freak show. Thank you very much for joining me for the second episode featuring videos for Halloween. Now, this week's episode is going to be a story time regarding my best friend was abducted by aliens. This video will absolutely leave non-believers shaken to their core. In order to tell this story correctly, I need to tell you guys it from my point of view. And I do promise you that due to my memory, recollection, and knowledge, this story is 100% accurate and true. In the summer of 1999, my best friend, Kimberly Jane, was a gorgeous, busty blonde. You know, she was popular, funny, charismatic, intelligent, and absolutely gorgeous. She was like that infamous unicorn that men always talk about when they talk about women. My best friend absolutely had huge goals for herself, and there wasn't anything she wouldn't do to accomplish them. Even though things stood in her way, she hurdled over it. When she was 15, she got pregnant and had her baby and did not let that stop her from graduating high school early and going immediately into college. Now, once Kimberly gained her associate's degree, she immediately applied and got into the University of Texas here in Austin. And she went on to graduate with an honors in biology. One of the things that I truly loved about my best friend was the fact that she was logical. You know, she didn't believe everything that she read or saw on the internet. She loved facts. She loved scientific data. If it was a decision or something like that that Kimberly was going through, she would want to know every aspect in order to correctly make that decision. One big thing about Kimberly was that she absolutely believed in God, though she definitely believed that we are not alone in this universe. Before I continue, I must give a brief description of Kimberly's bedroom at the time the event took place. Kimberly's bedroom was the size of a rectangle divided into two sections. Her bedroom was in the middle of like this very long stretch of hallway with two doors leading into her bedroom, one in the bedroom and one in the closet. An archway separated her bedroom from the closet, so one section was the closet, and then of course the other section was the actual bedroom. The width of her bedroom had to be about maybe 10-15 feet wide, but the length of her bedroom was over 40 feet long. There were two large wide windows on the far side of the room with an air conditioner unit in the window that was closest to the wall. Kimberly's double-sized bed was located directly underneath the windows, and she had a nightstand right beside the bed and a desk that faced the closet. In the summer of 1999, Kimberly and I were as close as we could be as best friends. I mean, in fact, we were so close that we felt like soul sisters. We completely trusted one another, and this trust led Kimberly to tell me something very terrifying that happened in her bedroom one night. Her story, I have to say, has haunted me ever since she told me. And I've never told another person about it until now. But I know that she would absolutely approve me telling you her story of what happened to her in the summer of 1999. Even though we're best friends and we shared everything together and we told each other our most intimate secrets, there was just some things that I'm sure we felt uncomfortable telling each other because we would think, oh my God, that person is crazy. So about after like half an hour of just coaxing her and promising her that I wouldn't judge her and I wouldn't think that she was crazy, did she finally relent and tell me the story. Kimberly said that she was sleeping in her bedroom one night and something disturbed her from a deep sleep. She woke up enough just to understand and come to the realization that the reason why she had woken up was because she was hot. So naturally, she just kicked off the blanket that she was using at the time. When that didn't seem to make her a little cooler, Kimberly actually realized that the air conditioner unit right beside the bed was not turned on. Kimberly assumed that she had went to bed before she had a chance to turn the unit on, so she didn't think anything strange when she sat up and clicked on the air conditioner. After she turned on the air conditioner, she laid back down, got in a comfortable position, got her head on the pillow and got comfortable, closed her eyes, and thought that soon the coolness from the air conditioner would relieve her hotness. However, it did not. And then Kimberly realized that the air conditioner was not blowing cool air, it was blowing warm air. Kimberly knew that if she didn't fix the problem, she wouldn't be able to go back to sleep. Even if this whole situation literally woke her up, she would not be able to go back to sleep unless she was able to get the room somewhat cooler. So Kimberly sits up, she looks at the dials and she turned the air conditioner dial to a cooler setting, and then she lays back down, turns on her side, and eventually closes her eyes. But it wasn't long after Kimberly was laying down that she felt that someone was watching her. And it wasn't like somebody was in her bedroom standing there watching her. She said that it felt like somebody was standing outside of her bedroom window, watching inside of her room. The notion that possibly somebody was trying to break into her bedroom did not escape her mind, and suddenly Kimberly felt instantly awake. What Kimberly would do was she would just barely edge open the blinds that covered her window, and she would peek outside just for a few seconds and then put her head back in and sit and put her back flat up against the wall, and she would just wait for a few minutes. And then she would just gently open her blind again, look outside to see if anybody was out there, and then just put her back against the wall again. And she did this for about 20 minutes, thinking that, every time she opens this up, there's got to be somebody there. She knows somebody is there. It even kind of clicked in her mind that this could possibly be a burglar because her air conditioning unit never malfunctioned, and she had a very specific habit of turning on the air conditioner before she went to bed at night. So the fact that it really wasn't working properly and that she felt that she was being watched from outside the house really just drew that notion home into her mind. Kimberly desperately wanted to leave her bedroom and run into her parents' room, but their bedroom was on the far side of the house. And Kimberly was very afraid that if she made one bit of movement, tried to hide under her bed or get into her closet, that it would make some sort of noise, and that noise would bring the attention of the burglar. He would know at that point she was awake. At some point, Kimberly finally realized she just can't stay in this position any longer. She has to do something. Her window was not locked, that had the air conditioning unit, so nothing could stop a burglar from just lifting up the window, letting the air conditioner fall out, and getting inside her bedroom. Mentally and physically prepped herself that she was going to do this. She was going to slowly edge off the bed and run out of her bedroom door, through the hall, and get to her parents' bedroom. She was going to leave this situation regardless. She was positive this was the time to act. Before Kimberly could move 1 inch, a massive white light blasted through her windows. The light was so bright that Kimberly said it literally blinded her. But she could hear the windows being lifted up, and the doors that entered into her bedroom and closet had been opened. And this, you guys have to understand, this whole time, Kimberly is terrified. She is in the corner right there in her bed beside her window. She's cowering, she's terrified, she can't see anything. All she can do is just hear what's going on around her, and she's truly starting to just freak out. But her freak out turns into full-on panic whenever she hears the distinct sound of footsteps coming into her bedroom. Kimberly absolutely had to know what was in her bedroom. So she tried looking, she tried shielding her eyes from the light. She tried, using that, as a way to kind of cover things so she could see if there was anyone in her room, or maybe if she could find focus on anything, just anything in the bedroom that could let her know what was happening, what was going on. But she could see nothing. So she has no choice but to stay cowered in that little corner. Now, just a few seconds after she was huddled in that corner and she's still trying to look, she finally sees some dark shapes that are slowly approaching her. However, because the light is so bright and it's getting brighter by the second, that by the time she can even make out the shape of a dark figure, it's already right there beside her. And there are multiple dark figures that are surrounding her bed. Kimberly can't move, she can't see, and somehow either her fear or they have paralyzed her because she is completely immobile. And Kimberly can no longer do anything as the dark figures surround her bed and take her from the room. Kimberly went on to say that she has no idea what happened to her next because the next thing she knew, she woke up in her bed with her alarm going off at its normal time. When Kimberly woke up and she sat up, she looked around her bedroom and it looked ordinary. The only thing that was different was that the air conditioner had not been turned on and her comforter had been placed over her body, and she had 2 blankets over her and tucked into bed. At first, Kimberly honestly thought it was all a dream. Maybe when she woke up that night, instead of turning the air conditioner on, she made a mistake and put her comforter over her instead and tucked up with the blanket instead of turning on the air conditioner. Or maybe it just got her body too overhot and hence brought on the nightmare. But she dismissed the idea because Kimberly was positive that she had woken up that night. She was positive that the heat had overwhelmed her and that the bed comforter was not on her. In her mind, it simply didn't make sense that she would wake up hot and go grab her comforter and put it on her and go back to bed without having a problem. Kimberly decides that she's just going to go on ahead and get up, have some coffee, eat a little breakfast, but her doubt truly diminished as she sat down and drank her coffee because she specifically remembered the heat, the fear, and the light. Those 3 things Kimberly could not forget. And when everything starts to come back to her into her memory, she thinks to herself, okay, there has to be a rational explanation for this. There has to be something to explain what happened last night. Ultimately, the time that transpired between when she went to bed that night and when her alarm went off, she had no memory of. Since Kimberly was only gone for such a short period of time, no one noticed that she was missing. And one thing I gotta note real quick is that Kimberly never slept with that comforter that she woke up with that morning. It was a new comforter that she had brought that spring, and it was really cute and purple, and it made her room absolutely pop. So she kept the comforter on her bed during the summer and a Native American little like thinner flannel blanket on top of that. And that was what she used to cover the top of her bed. However, she never slept with that comforter during the spring and the summertime. When it was time for bed, she would take it off, put it in her closet, or maybe like on her chair that was by her desk. But that morning, she specifically remembered waking up and that comforter had been placed on her body. Kimberly fully believed that she was abducted by aliens that night. They were the ones who put the comforter on her bed. Since she already had that Native American blanket on her bed, she just assumed they put the Native American one on her and then put her comforter on top of her body because that's what humans normally do when they sleep. Kimberly went on to be extremely traumatized from this event. She was so traumatized that she would not let her infant daughter sleep in her bed at nights when she wanted to, because Kimberly was so scared that the aliens would come back for her. And if they did, and her daughter was in her bed, they would take her daughter too. And until the day that she passed away in 2009, Kimberly genuinely felt, straight down to her bones, that whatever took her that night would come take her again. And she was terrified of it. Now, as far as I know, Kimberly was never visited again. But I have to say that this is something that she told me over 20 years ago, and I believed her then, and I still believe her now. Her story literally horrified me because she's, again, somebody who believes in logic and science, and somebody who is so rational. If they are convinced that they were taken by aliens, then you have to admit it's absolutely possible that humans are being abducted by aliens. And that is the end of this story. Now, I definitely want to ask you guys to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video so YouTube will not send this video into a phantasm oblivion, so to speak. And I want to thank you all very much for your kindness and your patience in listening to the story, because it is something very personal and private that happened to a person that I loved. If there is something that has happened to you that you absolutely cannot explain and you want to tell us about it, please tell me about it in the comments. All I ask, of course, is that nobody be a dickhead to anybody in the comments. It takes a brave person to place their trauma or unexplained experience out there for other people to read and to judge. So be kind. Being non-judgmental and a good person goes a long way. As I very much hope you enjoyed this story time video and again the honesty that I shared with you in regards to my best friend. Don't forget, Halloween videos are coming every single Friday, so make sure to subscribe if you want to. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and beware of Mamie Eisenhower canoodling with our sexy scapfish. I love these glasses. I feel like Alex from Orange is the New Black. Wish I was hot like her.